Assemble my own wind generator?
For answers to questions about wind power, visit windbluepower.com. Did you know the wind could provide your family with emergency power? It can with a wind generator from windbluepower.com. Learn how our amazing LightBreeze wind generator kits start charging a 12-volt battery and just 6 mile per hour wind. Or see the new Cyclone X2 dual kit featuring 2 wind generators on just 1 tower. And learn why schools and universities across the country utilize our products to teach about wind power and alternative energy at windbluepower.com. All kits qualify for a 30% IRS tax credit for residential energy efficient property. Enter coupon code RADIO for a 5% discount at windbluepower.com. That's windbluepower.com or call 800-976-0026. That's 800-976-0026.
Freedom is just another word for nothing left to lose.
We just got off the phone with Professor John Lott. I may go into 4th hour overdrive. He was in the middle of a major press conference of some type, being harried by reporters. He was going to speak tonight until the shooting happened. I have the Army, it was leaked by WikiLeaks, manual where they teach Army captains how to stage shootings. Operation Northwoods, how to shoot U.S. citizens and blame it on Cuban nationals to go to war with Cuba. I'm telling you, this thing stinks to high heaven, but I'm not getting off into that. And I'm just amazed by our guests. This is a short segment, long segment coming up. Alex Abella, he has written the Bombshell book. I've read several chapters online, but I haven't gotten it yet. I'm going to read it. But just everything he's talking about jives with my research. But he was the only... Alex, before we get into systems analysis and all of this and the world government, how did you get in? Tommy Pilata told me some of the story.
Well, the story was that, I just finished doing my previous book. This book is called Soldiers of Reason. The previous one was called Shadow Enemies, which was, the one about the terrorists that were sent here by Hitler, a personal mission from Hitler right after Pearl Harbor to start a wave of terror in the United States with, that landed on 2 U-boats, one in Long Island and one down in Florida. And, but the guy who was heading the whole thing flipped. He went over to the FBI, but the FBI wouldn't listen to him. So he had to personally go down to Washington. And then, so it was like a ticking time bomb after that.
And the Germans wanted to blow up ammunition dumps.
Yes. Oh, not only that, they also wanted to blow up the aqueduct, the waterworks in New York City. They wanted to put bombs in train stations, in major Jewish-owned department stores, which back then in New York meant probably most of them. It's amazing what they wanted to do. So it was like this whole FBI race trying to, first of all, they didn't believe the guy. Then when they did believe him, then they had to find all the other people that had scattered all over the country. So it was a fascinating story. In any case.
Well, that's how research works. You're doing something on one thing, and then it leads you to something entirely different.
Absolutely. So I was citing books for that book when I saw that, because I co-wrote that, and a friend of my co-author was there, and this person happened to be fairly highly placed within the RAND organization. And I realized, oh my God, the last time I heard about RAND, I was back at Columbia. I was in college. And, they were like masters of deception and this and that. I was thinking, I wonder if anybody's done anything about that. And so I started looking up, the research, doing some research, whether anybody had written about it. And apparently nobody had for a long, long time. And I approached them, and much to my surprise, they said, yes, we'll do it. And at the time, they told me this was either the smartest or the dumbest move we have ever made. I don't know. That's for others to decide. In any case, they opened up their files, and they were totally cooperative. I have nothing bad to say about that. However, I do think that they expected a different perspective. I laid down the facts just as they are, but I think that they expected me to come to different conclusions.
So you literally got a first-class ticket on that express elevator down the rabbit hole.
That's right. Very good. Very well put. That's exactly how I felt, because the times you read these things and you go, how could this be true? How could they be? It's like... Some of the plans that were gestated over there at RAND were even like 50 years later, you read them and you say, how could anybody ever think of anything like this? Not only, obviously, control the population, but when you talk about nuclear destruction, about nuclear holocaust, how we can survive even if 50 million people die, because all of them will be dead, but yet we'll be surviving. And I'm thinking, this is like insane. And of course, that's one of the things that Eisenhower was against, because Eisenhower, having been a general, he knew what death was all about. involved.
Curtis LeMay, for those that don't know, he wanted to have nuclear war, and a lot of them did, and the Rand Corporation was there going, literally the scene from Dr. Strangelove where the general's saying, look, let's have the nuclear war. It's going to be great. We've got lots of mine shaft underground bases. There'll be 10 women for every man.
Absolutely. Not only that, they went well far beyond that. I mean, the main guy who did that, was a popularizer of that particular approach, was a guy named Herman Kahn, who was like this big fat guy who worked, who was later became a futurologist, thinking about what the future is going to be like. But at the time, he was a physicist who had been hanging out with all these different people at Rand, who had developed all these different concepts, and he just decided to give lectures on this. I mean, and when people first heard this, like in the 1950s, early 60s, and I was a kid at the time, I vaguely remember all this. I mean, people were throwing up when they heard these things, and it was mass murder, basically, is what we're talking about. But yet they said, no, this is the rational way to do things. This is what we have to do if we want to win. And Eisenhower, when he heard all these things, he said, you guys have nuts. There's no way we're going to do this. And that's why he cut down the Pentagon budget.
And at that same time, Lemnitzer, the head of the Joint Chiefs, came to him with Operation Northwoods that my intel shows was Rand influenced, and said, let's stage terror attacks, sir. Let's remote control airplanes and crash them. Let's bomb D.C. Stay there. We're going to come back with stage terror, global government, control of the U.S. population, water fluoridation, the loving helpers at the Rand Corporation. They gave you the internet, in-flight refueling, systems analysis, everything. You like living in the New World Order? You can thank the Rand Corporation. We'll be right back with our amazing guest to tell you how to get his book.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
You may be arrested and/or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on Earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship. Body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about soap. Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Cal Ben Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5 Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm happy to say our business is going down the drain. Call us at 1-800-340-7091. Visit our website, 5starsoap.com, for buying our 1 to 2 month soap sampler. Thank you.
You've heard Alex explain how the Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced colloidal silver solutions, yet many are unaware of the entire function of the Silver Lungs system and how it has been designed to deliver your silver solutions anywhere in or on the body. My name is Mario Cifaldi, and I'm the developer of the Silver Lungs generator. Not only does the Silver Lungs system produce endless colloidal and ionic silver solutions, it also comes equipped with the proper applicators and devices needed to deliver your silver solutions directly to key target areas. This includes the eyes, ears, nose, lungs, topically to the skin, and orally for the digestive system. Be sure to watch our new 7-minute video tour of the Silver Lungs system at www.silverlungs.com to learn more about how the Silver Lungs system works. As well, we are always ready to answer any questions you may have. That's www.silverlungs.com.
Defending the Republic from enemies, foreign and domestic. It's Alex Jones.
Alex Abella, New York Times, notable book author, Emmy-nominated TV reporter, screenwriter. Soldiers of Reason, the Rand Corporation and the American Empire. Available where all good books are sold. His website's alexabella.com. Abella spelled A-B-E-L-L-A, alexabella.com. And if you just read publicly available Ford and Carnegie Foundation, they said, we're going to start wars so we can take over the planet to then end war. We're going to set up the UN as a fake socialist front to basically take over the planet. That's what we've gotten on that end. But he got it from one of their main think tanks where they were developing the specifics of their prime directive, and he's the only guy to ever get in and get these. And I guess because he wrote a book about the Nazis and a secret plan, they thought it would be something like that, but it certainly wasn't. Soldiers of Reason, please continue. I mean, go back into the nasty, horrible things they were planning, the ideas. You were talking about Eisenhower being shaken by them. That's even in Frontline specials about Northwoods.
Absolutely. I mean, Eisenhower, basically, he realized after a while that, that nobody won in a nuclear war. But yet these people, led by scientists in Rand and their advisors, and also, leaders of the military-industrial complex, people whose industries, depended on Pentagon largesse, on Pentagon spending a lot of money. They kept pressing him like, you have to increase the Pentagon budget. The Russians are coming after us. We have the missile gap. We have all these things. And Eisenhower was not buying any of that. In fact, he was the one who started then trying to coexist with the Soviet Union, trying to come to some kind of understanding, obviously without letting our guard down. I mean, he did authorize the U-2.
But if there was a nuclear war, the military-industrial complex wouldn't just get more funds, they would reorganize the entire country.
Absolutely, absolutely. That would have been their golden ticket, to get in and just reshape everything without having to give anybody any excuses, because, it's a war, martial law, and it's over. It's over. It's not just the United States. It would have been the entire world.
Now, what about Northwoods? Are you familiar with that? Did you see anything dealing with government-sponsored terror, false flag events in your Rand research?
Well, I know that was some of the things that were considered by a lot of the people at the time. I know that you mentioned the whole Northwood incident, and that's after Castro had taken over in Cuba. I myself, obviously, having been born there, I'm familiar with that, and it happened all the time. How do you think we got into Vietnam? I mean, remember, the Gulf of Tonkin resolution? That was totally fake. Everybody knew it at the time, especially in the government, and yet, we got into it, and we got into Vietnam. And, of course, Rand was there from the beginning, advising them, yes, get in, and then advising them, no, get out. And it's the same thing that happened in Iraq. At first saying, no, we should go in, and then once we were in, they say, well, but on the other hand, you're not putting in enough boots on the ground here in order to be able to carry out.
And we see the Pentagon Papers, our intel is leaked on purpose to end it. That's Rand Corporation, Daniel Ellsberg. We see the architect of the Vietnam War being former Rand, Robert McNamara.
That's right. He was never formally affiliated with Rand, but he definitely hired. He picked the brains of the Rand Corporation to run the Pentagon, because both those guys at Rand and McNamara were numbers people. Remember, but by the way, he had been in charge, the Ford Corporation, right? He had run the Ford Corporation. He was the youngest CEO at the time. He was only 40 when he ran Ford, at the time when Ford was really a major powerhouse in American industry. And he went from the Ford Corporation to the Pentagon, and he was chosen at the behest of people who were affiliated with Rand and Rand people themselves. And then he started picking people like Hitch, who was his controller,